And we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to I'd Rather Be Motivated, episode 17, where artist David Fleming and myself, Scott O Green, hang out for our weekly artist check-in. When I'm not here on YouTube, you can find me mostly on Instagram, excuse me, at Mr. Green Draws. That's mr.greendraws. And you, David, where can we find you when you're not here?
All right, so I'm Mr. David Fleming on Facebook and Art of Mr. Fleming on Instagram. And then I always make this comment because it's the easiest way to just figure my stuff out. But I always have a link tree up on my Instagram that has the shop that you can find me at and our YouTube channel, just like every other little place that I'm active on.
Awesome. Well, for those of you that don't know, like I said before, it's a weekly show where David and I get together and kind of talk things, illustration, comics, inking, all that good stuff, while mainly kind of using it also to check in with each other to make sure that we're staying productive. To do that, we start with the three P's, right? So progress. David, since the last time, which was just, I think, on Wednesday or so that we spoke last, how's your progress been going?
Progress has been going super well. So when last we talked, I was in the middle of my, let's see, I'm trying to think of what page would that have been? Page 5. I was just about finished with page 5, which I'm actually going to post tomorrow. So I'll go ahead and just like slap it up here and show you guys behind me here.
Well, you're getting kind of quieter, far away from the mic.
Yeah, sorry, I was actually literally getting far away from the mic. So I was saying I was in the middle of this guy here, and I did finish him up. And then my my gradient pack of screen tones finally came in. So now I'm actually, like, these two go together right here. And there's some finishing touches. There's some things in here that I'm going to lay a screen tone on as well. So I'm just kind of putting the finishing touches on these guys so I actually can move forward to the next couple pages.
I like the thickness of your borders there, the black lines.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
What's that called again? The thickness of your line on...
I don't really know if there's like a special word for the thickness of the line in terms of your panel borders.
But anyway, I like, is that the same like thickness you have throughout the whole thing for this story, or is that for like that page?
Yeah, I have, it's like just short of 1/8 of an inch, I think is what it is. It's like a line on my ruler. It's like it's not one of the normal ones. It's like in between the ones you'd be using to measure, but I didn't, it was like when I first made my borders, I made them the full 1/8 and it was just a little too thick.
Gotcha. Looks good, especially with that gradient on that one.
Yeah, so the inside ones here, I did make a little bit skinnier than the outside ones because I didn't want the weights to like counteract each other. But this is going to be the standard border that most panels will be.
Looks good, man.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm just I laid this whole giant screen up over this thing, and then now I have to chop out the letters here because I've actually put a different tone over the letters. It's just a little bit, it's like kind of barely visible. You're definitely going to see it much more when it's all shrunk down and scanned in and stuff. But let's see, I finished a drawing or two as well. I've been jumping back into my 5x7 drawings. Last time we talked, I just finished a convention, and like I can never like guess properly like what I will be selling at conventions. And the last convention I was at, I ended up selling like way more of my smaller drawings than I ever have. So I'm also kind of in a goal of trying to knock one of those guys out on the days in between my panels, and I have finished a few of those. Let's see, just finished up my last commission. So I'm commission free now. I am just waiting to collect on that one.
Freedom.
Yeah. So I'm full on comic, doing my own work kind of stuff, and then little sketches in between to restock for I think it's November 10th, I believe, if it's that date is right in my brain, is another convention that I'm doing in Wichita, Kansas. And then I think that's pretty much it. Like you said, it was only Wednesday the last time we talked. I feel like I've done a lot, but it just also, when I say it out loud, it almost feels like, man, what was I doing?
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of good stuff done.
Yeah, I've been in that zone all month. This is what Inktober does to me. It just puts me in this zone where like not a single person in the world could be looking, but because I've told myself I'm going to do this thing, like I'm going to do it. And
it is fun once you set that challenge for yourself, you know?
Oh yeah. Setting a goal and then keeping a goal is like that's the number one way I stay motivated. I cannot tell if I think I'm peeling up. I like pushed down too hard on this one and I'm peeling up the screen tone underneath. I'm getting a little frustrated here as I'm trying to also talk.
Gotcha.
I'll hand it over to you though, because I really think that's it. Like that's the progress I've made.
Oh, that's it. Jeez, it sounds like you got a lot of good stuff done. Yeah, man, you killed it. So yeah, Inktober's great. I love it. Like I said before, I'm not like doing the 30 in 30 days. Just kind of have a project that I'm working on, doing some other drawings on the side, and just kind of using it as a little bit of a relaxing period as a project to work on after my 100 days. But reading back through my script for October since I talked to you, just kind of getting a feel for that. It was kind of a good idea, and I've heard of other people doing this after they write their first draft. They like put it in a drawer for a month, and I didn't quite wait that long. But then bring it back out with like fresh eyes and everything, and read back over it and start making revisions that way. So that's been pretty cool. As far as like the topic from last week, we were talking about the unicorn and werewolves, that possibility for anthology.
Oh yeah.
It's still a possibility and all that, but they were really cool about saying, hey, everybody. And because I like was saying that I definitely don't know for sure if I'm going to be involved in it or not, if I'm going to be accepted or whatnot. But they came out kind of not long after that saying, hey, everybody, like, don't put your projects on hold. We still have a little bit of time before we're going to be figuring this out. And they kind of laid out a little bit of a timetable on it.
Oh, awesome.
So that was pretty cool because I was getting all excited and jazzed for it. Like I had to be ready with the concept ready to go, and I'm still thinking about it and everything. But they were like, don't put stuff on hold. So I kind of took that to heart and was like, okay, cool. Then I'll keep pressing forward on October and my Inktober project and everything. So that was kind of cool finding that out, that, you know, there's still a possibility and everything, but no reason to worry too much about it right now until the time comes. So that was reassuring. But yeah, still working on my, like I said before, my Inktober project. I forget how many, I think there's 22 characters in all, like counting everybody that's on this. And I now have all of them accounted for. Some of them, most of them are outlined, and then the last few are inked, or I'm sorry, are just in blue pencil. And I think I'm just going to kind of sit down after this and during this and just knock out the outline of all those. My goal was to kind of draw them all and then outline them all and then go back through with the pen and do a lot of different little touch-ups and textures and different things like that, and add a little bit and then scan it in actually to remove all the blue pencil, and then maybe do like a blue watercolor thing over the image at the end once it's all inked. But I've got everybody accounted for on there finally. It's a bit of like a fun big hodgepodge mess, but I think it works out pretty good. But yeah, excited about that. And then my other thing was, my wrap-up video. I wanted to have be able to say like it's done and it's posted by the time I talk to you, but it's almost ready to go. Just finishing that up. I don't work until 2 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, so planning on having a good amount of coffee and doing a lot of drawing and editing tonight. So that should be up pretty soon, and have my idea going forward on the video series that I want to start, because that was a lot of fun in the 100 days. Even just making quick videos to just get them out there was a lot of fun, kind of getting over the shyness, which this has all like really helped with.
Right.
And now I really kind of want to do my thing as far as an art video series, which a lot of people have their, you know, tips and everything, which is great. And there's a lot of people that are suited better for that. I'm going to do something where I can incorporate that little bit of a travel show with like a drawing show. So I think I've got a pretty solid idea on that I'll kind of unveil in my 100-day wrap-up sort of video. But yeah, going pretty good. I think that's my progress so far.
I love your travel drawing show idea thing. Like I think that fits you so well. So like I'm super excited for that. And I don't know if we actually talked about that on any of the previous episodes, or we just talked about that together, but you're just already that kind of dude who just like, I'm bored today and I'm going to go on a hike. Like you've got that thing going for you, you know?
Yeah, I like exploring, and I like, I'm out here with, it's just my wife and I, which is a ton of fun, and we share that with each other, but it is fun for me to share it with people back home and different folks, and it is new to me. I'm not from this area, so it is seeing a lot of new stuff. And I don't know if there's already a name for it, but there might be like a channel name, but I thought just like for like the series name on our channel, I was thinking about going with drawing inspiration, because I want it to kind of be something where, once again, I think like every show we talk about 3-point perspective or Jake Parker, and I do want to vow to get better on quality show notes in these things we talk about. I really want to make sure that we get that put in the show notes, because I feel like that can make or break a good podcast or show is show notes. But anyway, sorry, the idea of the creative bank account, and I kind of want to be a vehicle to help fill everybody's creative bank account, or give them another perspective that might inspire, ideas of color and shape and things like that, and finding cool compositions, and maybe like doing the drawings and doing like a freeze frame out of different things that I see, and giving people like a drawing prompt idea when people are like, I don't know what to draw today. Like the show can kind of be that, like, here's something interesting I found along my travels.
I am not a hiker, so you can experience the world for me, and I can just totally just like snag your ideas.
I can dig it. Whether I'm on a ferry boat or on a bike ride or whatever, it's a lot of interesting stuff out there.
Like fairy, like mythical creature, or like fairy, like.
You never know, man. It's the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of crazy stuff out here. It's the land of Bigfoot, It's where he comes from.
Right. What's the first thing you think when you hear ferry boat?
Yeah, that too. Either way. Yeah. So, since the last time we were together, moving right along, what problems have you encountered?
I would say my number one problem right now is with these screen tones that I freaking love and freaking hate. I am like running low on them already. I miscalculated.
The screen tones?
Yeah, so like to get these things, I have to like literally order them from Japan. I'm sure if I really kind of like buckled down and like went somewhere local, maybe I'd find like an art store that'd order them for me or whatever. But they take a good 2 to 3 weeks to come in. Like these ones here that finally came in, I ordered like before Inktober started. Like I ordered these things back in the see, I can't even think right now because it was like how much they're frustrating me. I ordered them in September.
Wow.
And some of them are just coming in now. And then I ordered some after Inktober started, but I probably won't get them until November. So there's like a really weird, like, I got to really be on top of it kind of thing. I feel like it's happening here with like knowing if I need more of them. So I really just need to like stock up. Like now that I know, I only ordered the one because I was like, I don't actually know if I'm going to love this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I know I love it, but now I'm having to be like sparing with them. Like I'd be using them way more and differently if I had more to spare, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I finally started.
It's cool you're finding something that you like a lot. I know you're like, it's going to impede my Inktober, but, it's cool that you found something that you're really digging.
Oh, yeah, I'm like super digging it. It's super fun. What I'm doing right now was dumb of me, though, and I shouldn't have done it this way. And so I'm paying the price for being a noob at this stuff. But laying this down on top of another one that I already laid down and like having to trim around it it's sloppier than I would want it to be if I would have done it the other way around, which is like I would have done the whole background first and then laid this screen on top of it instead. But it's a learning process right now.
Well, I can't wait after the month for you to start doing some tips in a time lapse where you maybe could do a screen tones episode.
Yeah, I'm I'm excited to do a time lapse. So there's this really I'm not doing this very well, but if you get a really nice clean cut, there's a really satisfying thing that would look awesome in a time lapse when you just like peel up it all at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like when you peel a sunburn, you get like a real long piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. See, now I'm like, dang it. I was salvaging that little middle piece, and now somehow I just lost it. This is what I'm talking about. I should not do this underneath the camera. This should be the... this
as long as you don't cut yourself live. Oh, Furious Animations, how's it going out there? They say they're asking what you making, and that's David working on his comic right now. And yeah, he was just kind of talking about it, but using the razor to trim out his screen tones, which are a layer of sticky dots that stick to the paper. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically. It's like the adhesive is really weird. It's not super sticky, but I read about it. Like the longer it sticks, the longer it stays stuck. There's like a thing that the screen tone does apparently. And it's like,
so it's repositionable.
Yeah, it's made, yeah, exactly. It's made like that to be repositionable, but like after it's been on the paper for a really long time, then it doesn't come off.
Well, thanks for joining us, Furious Animations. I haven't seen you here before, so welcome. If you have any questions for us, holler. The thing I'm making or working on, if you're just tuning in, is this guy right here. It's my Inktober project with all my different characters on it from my Mr. Green's Monster Zine, which is this guy right here. A little zine and we'll have for sale sometime pretty soon, I'm hoping. But yeah, so it's got a whole bunch of different characters, and I decided to put them all on one big image. So that's what I'm working on now. All right. Have any other problems part we were kind of talking about? It sounded like some of your problems were a lot of your problems were just loving your screen tones a lot and learning.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I always do to myself where like I've decided to learn something new in the middle of a challenge or something. Like when I'm already crushing myself for time, I've decided to do something I've never done before, kind of thing.
Well, which is kind of the original sort of sentiment with it, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a classic move for me though to like force an extra bit of challenge when I already challenge myself enough.
Well, it's a good idea to really jump in with both feet, you know, and it's a cool idea, I think, to you know, use all of this to be making a comic. You know, it's a very awesome, productive example of learn by doing, I think.
Yeah. That part is like I'm not regretting at all like telling myself to make a comic in the Inktober like stuff, because there is like I know I'm gonna get I keep telling myself 10 pages, but it's realistically gonna be more like 8 pages. But like getting 8 pages done in a month for me, that is an awesome flow. I'm extremely excited about that flow. Like that's almost halfway done with the comic kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of for sure.
And that's really exciting. But I'm giving it over to you now because I'm in this zone here where I feel like I'm just like babbling. Let's let you talk. And
yeah, so my problems this week, really it's a good problem to have, but it's October, so it's a month full of a lot of fun. My wife and I were married in October, and it's our favorite time of year. There's always a lot of stuff going on, and where we're at now has a really beautiful fall that like really kind of, it's like a full season. It's happening the whole month. It doesn't happen too quickly, and so we want to get out and experience all this stuff. And you want to pick and choose between getting your artwork done and, you know, life experiences and everything. But especially having just got done with the 100s. Yeah, it's just been a lot of fun hanging out and doing stuff, but I do feel this pull back to drawing and getting stuff done on a daily basis. And if I'm not able to get enough done, it does start kind of, you know, pulling at me and tugging at me, and anxiety and, you know, things like that. Not quite as happy at work and all that sort of stuff. So like what we've talked about a million times, balance and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a good problem this time of month because it's just a lot of fun to be had because it's October. But, you know, I think to battle that, I'm in a good place with Inktober because that's one of the things that, you know, one of the struggles. And I'm not tying myself as much to like the daily posting, just kind of posting as I get some stuff done, and I'll draw 4 characters and then ink 4 characters and then sort of post them all at the same time. So it's just I want to have this project done at the end of the month. So anyway, that was been kind of my problems and then my solution of dealing with the problems. So yeah, that's me.
What is your solution to feeling the drawing anxiety of, like, you know what I mean? Like, does it ever stop you from drawing, feeling like you need to get in and get things done? Or is it like inspired to draw more?
Mostly it inspires me to draw more, but sometimes I really am trying to be more present when I'm doing stuff like with my wife and my brother. I don't want to be doing stuff with them and be thinking about like, I really need to be getting this art stuff done. But what I'm finding out when I'm kind of relaxing on my heels a little bit with the art stuff, because I'm, I just did the 100s and let's have some more of the, quality time with brother and wife and everything. I'm starting to be thinking more about like, oh, I really need to be making time for art. And so it makes me a little bit more agitated. So it is driving me to create, but then sometimes I'm so stressed out by the time I sit down to create, I'm frustrated because, it took all day long and now it's late and I'm exhausted and I'm already kind of winking out and I'm just sitting down and trying to get stuff done. And then like getting sort of a little like letting it ruin my day a little bit, which isn't like a good sort of mental place to be, because it originates from like having like fun quality time like with my loved ones and everything. So it's not like I'm wasting time, but it's almost like I'm convincing myself that I was just wasting time. And it's like, no, that was you're doing healthy. It's not like I'm wasting time on video games and a bunch of Netflix shows. In fact, I'm behind on Daredevil already. I know it just came out, but still. But it's like, I got so used to that daily really working and trudging forward that when I don't feel like I'm in go, go, go mode, I feel like I'm slacking off and not doing what I should be doing. So,
like with the 100s, you mean, like how you were in that zone?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm doing something that I don't think is bad. Like I am like a little bit more relaxed in this time right now in this transition. I think it's just a subconscious thing where then it's like I'm afraid that like, I'm not getting enough done quick enough. And it's like, just patience with myself, I think mostly. Like I'm not doing anything wrong, but all of a sudden I'll tell myself, you've just been messing around all day. And it's like, no, you've been like, it's your favorite time of the year and you're doing fun stuff with your wife and your brother and it's beautiful out and you're enjoying and you're getting physical activity and like, these are all good things. You're not wasting time, but, I get frustrated, I think, because a lot of times, like with my work schedule, it's not a regular schedule at all. So it's hard to plan wisely. So I think I talked about it before, of trying to come up with a schedule of like at least knowing on which days I'm working on which type of project and get better about using time before work when I'm going in late and stuff like that. I don't know. Just all that kind of regular stuff. But yeah, so that was a long answer. I'm sorry. Like, it helps me to press forward and keep creating that feeling, but sometimes it gets to an unhealthy thing where I'm a little bit too hard on myself, I think.
Right. That makes sense. I just asked because, like, I see it happen a lot, like, especially, like, during Inktober. Like, an artist or two I might follow, all of a sudden they, like, make a really negative post because of the stress of it or something, and they're like, screw this thing anyways, stupid, and I'm like, I'm curious how other artists like deal with that kind of thing. Just like getting in their head and feeling like drawing sucks, even though obviously drawing doesn't suck. It's like, it's our thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with something like that, the whole thing is 31 drawings in 31 days. It doesn't say a drawing a day for 31 days. And once again, it can be whatever the heck you want it to be.
Right.
So,
and that was just like my specific example. I just like, I'm not at all like I'm full steam ahead, stoked, like out of my mind, like can't wait to draw the next page every single day I sit down. But me, I'm just like, I'm abnormally always stoked about everything, and it takes a lot for me to like feel the anxiety and get in my head, and so I don't understand the artist anxiety sometimes, and I'm trying to, because I feel like someone from an angle like me who doesn't feel it is like a voice of reason maybe for some of the artists who do.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know. I'm always thinking of things to teach and help and be a part of art communities and stuff. And that thing's been on my brain a little bit just because I see it so much where like artists are just like stuck in their head. And like, I see so many good artists who are like, ooh, here's my stupid drawing for the day. And I'm like, what do you mean? What are you doing? Stop being a party pooper. Your drawing is awesome. But then I know it's like real for people. Like that kind of anxiety isn't just like, you can't just tell someone like stop being dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you. And that's not quite like, luckily, that's not quite the anxiety I'm dealing with. I don't think. Mine is just like, I think it's feeling like I just don't have enough time to create.
Yeah.
And so if I need to like make a little bit more time for life, it's like almost like that means art has to take that much more of a back seat
of the art.
And that like simple thing kind of just bums me out and makes me not like my job and stuff like that, because, you know, I don't have a large window to, you know, make stuff anyway. Like I make it happen, but even when I'm doing stuff that's like good and healthy for me to do that isn't art stuff, I get down on myself for not doing art stuff. And it's like, I'm really just trying to figure out how to make more time for it. I think is my, like I'm doing it every day. I'm pressing forward. I just, like I've said before, like I want to be working on my projects and being a good student and doing all this stuff at the same time, which is a possible thing. It's just hard when, yeah, you know, stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. That's a really good point though. Balancing life and fun life, like with work. I kind of do that to myself a lot too, actually. Like my wife wants to go to do a fun thing, and I'm like, oh, but that means I'm going to miss my drawing time today. And then you kind of like feel like you're cheating yourself out of this thing, but you're like, you also need to just unwind and de-stress sometimes.
Exactly. I think I've been lazy in the past about stuff, you know, mostly because when I don't care about things, like really care about them, then I just don't care about them. And so I'm lazy about them, you know?
Right.
But it's like I'm afraid that this is something that like I really care about this. So if I start being lazy about this, like, oh, then like that's a surefire like way to kill the dream or something. I don't know. So it's like a fear of being lazy, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but just gotta, keep a good balance with that stuff and quality of life and everything. No one's gonna make good comics if they're in a pissy mood all the time. As I was saying that, I'm like, that's probably not true. I'm sure there's a lot of comics who are in pissy moods all the time making awesome stuff. But anyway.
That's cool. Honestly, that's a pretty good topic. I don't know, maybe we can find a way to like talk about that on the show sometime about just like general life balance.
Yeah, you know, maybe when I come up with a goal or when I come up with a little schedule for myself or something like that, we can talk about it.
Yeah,
because it's something that you employ pretty good, and with having like everyone has crazy life stuff that pops up, but with having a job that for a decent amount of the time like keeps you on a regular schedule, and you're able to kind of give yourself these schedules and a lot of times for stuff like once I kind of figure out a version of that works in kind of my life, we can maybe spitball it.
That's a really good point. That would drive me insane. Like not have, like I'm a creature of habit. If I didn't have a regular schedule where I know my times, like.
Yeah, man, it's really getting to me. Like I worked a night job for a while, and at a certain point, it's just like no more night shifts. I'm done with it. And I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm just like, I just want a Monday through Friday, like 9 to 5 sort of a thing, so I can just know when I'm going to be doing what. I've always kind of wanted to be like a creature of habit, I think, but I'm very much more chaotic in my day-to-day life of wake up and what's going to happen now.
Right.
But
which goes back to
even in the schedule of work, I can still figure that out. It's just day to day, I don't know if I'm going to be opening or closing. So I think I just need to like have a routine of knowing, you know, no matter what, up at this time to bed at this time, and I don't know if it's a day that you're opening, then your AM shift is this with art. If you're,
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say, even though it's back and forth with your shifts, like knowing what your job is and having those shifts before, like maybe you tell yourself when I work the whatever to close, when I work the open, and like yeah, you like tell yourself that you have these specific times that you get yourself up on those days.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's why.
So, a little bit more discipline will go a long way, I think, with it.
So instead of waiting,
excuse me,
actually, honestly,
what was that last part? I'm sorry.
I just always do that when we're talking on the show. I'm always like, yeah, what a great topic we could talk about next time. And I'm like, oh, why don't we just talk about that now, actually? So
I know you're like, this would be a good topic to talk about sometime. I'm like, I know. It's happening.
So when
plans.
When I first started taking the drawing more seriously, and like I struggled for that. I struggled for like balance of like, when should I play video games and when should I draw? Like that kind of thing was huge for me.
Yeah.
I still worked kind of part-time, so I don't think I stressed about it as much, but then I realized like the more I worked and then the more I was like doing other things like a family, like I needed to. I did this thing, and I read it in like a book, and I can't remember what the book was I was reading at the time, but I was reading a bunch of like different like activity books and like, all these kind of real random kind of things like that at the time. And it's, you take your day. So for you, you might have to do this like several times for depending on what your shifts look like, But you take your day and you go through it with like something next to you, like your phone, or obviously you can't have your phone, so like a little notepad or whatever. And you, every half hour to hour, you write down like what you're doing, like
a time audit.
Yeah, and like literally, like, okay, I got home at 7, but then I watched Daredevil until 10. And you're like, okay, well, I just used 3 hours of my day, so I'm not actually too busy to draw. I spend too much time doing this activity or that activity, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
And it was really good for me. Like, I spent way too much time just like, literally, I found out I spent way too much time just like staring at the wall, basically. Like,
yeah.
Got home and was exhausted, so I pulled out my phone. Hour later, I finally decided to watch a show. Hour later, then I finally sat down on my scoot. It was like,
and I should do a time audit and everything. It would be helpful to like know exactly and everything, but it's one of those things where I have no illusions about it. Like, I know for sure, like, I waste time that way. Like, I work, I draw every day, and that's great. But yeah, there's a lot of areas where I could tighten it up a little bit, and a lot of that is just good planning, like we talked about before. That's why I thought about, like, where it's something that you've done here recently, where you're like, on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'll be working on, such and such, like your commercial art, and then on the other days, it's your personal projects. Something as simple as that, I think, would help, and just me focus. And if I know, okay, today I'm working on October, well, the next thing I'm doing on October is this specific task. So naturally, that's what I'm working on today.
Right.
That'd be a lot easier. And that's that's a pretty like sort of loose form of schedule. That's not even like time or this or that. I think something as simple as that would really kind of help me focus my energies.
Oh yeah, I had found out that I was like, so what I basically found out also on top of that is when I started waking up early again. Like earlier than I needed to. So I don't have to be at work till like probably 6:30 or 7. Like, school starts at 7:17, and technically our contract time, we're supposed to be in by 7 and that kind of thing. So I get in at from 5:30 to 6 o'clock every morning. So that's an hour in the morning that I like added to my schedule as well. And then like, that's the thing, like deciding that it's worth maybe like getting up earlier, like squeeze, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, basically there's 3 times in the day where I can create, and it's early in the morning, a random time during the day where like Ellie takes her nap, and then after she goes to bed. And basically it all adds up to about a 3 to 4 hour stretch, like with all of them combined together. So on a good day, I get 4 hours in every day of drawing, and then on a bad day, I don't use one of those times. And then like, that's like, I know that I had that chance that I wasted.
Yeah, that's my thing. I think is like, I basically either have right when I wake up to work on it, or at night when everything's done, for the most part. And like I can be productive at either of those times, like for either menial tasks or the inspirational type stuff. But it's almost like opposite of like what my body, like, I don't know, sometimes I can just be jazzed and stay up until 3-4 in the morning on an idea and just keep sketching, and sometimes by 10:30 I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You have to figure out what works best for you in terms of like actually surviving. Because I mean, like I could stay up till midnight every night with that extra time at night, but then I would not survive the day, waking up the next day to go to work and all that kind of stuff.
And that's probably like a good sort of point or key right there, is like maybe center it around, I know I've got to make art every day, but I have to keep myself healthy. So center it around like that, and then know, okay, well, you have, certain rules for yourself. Like you have to get sleep, I can't get off after closing and work for 4 hours and then get up early to go open, which I have been doing a lot lately, and running off of like 2 hours of sleep, which has not been good sleep.
Right.
And then at that point, how much like awesome work am I doing once I'm sitting down at the drawing table? Like not great. Like, yeah, I get a character drawn in like an hour and a half because I'm tired and I'm kind of watching TV, and then I'm drawn, and So anyway, maybe center it around being healthy and knowing that you just have to draw every day. Hey, what's up, Ace? Joining in the chat, says quit your day job and be a traveling art hobo. Well, that's kind of the idea, but I just rather leave off the hobo part and just still be a dude that travels and makes art and makes money.
Sounds like you have to be homeless for it to be cool.
Well, I guess I'll tell people that. I don't know if that helps anything. I'll panhandle. I'll just be a guy who makes good stuff and sells it for money instead of just panhandling. I don't know. I got nothing. So anyway, I think we are on our last P, which is plans for the next time we talk, which should be, I believe, next Sunday.
Wait. Yeah, so plans would be, I mean, I'm almost done here, which is pretty awesome. Putting the finishing touches on this page, cleaning it up, and then putting the finishing touches on the other page to post. And then, oh shoot, hold on one second, man. I literally did not plug my computer and it's about to die. Give me like 2 seconds to run upstairs.
No problem. You're good. Ace says, yeah, no one likes a non-starving artist. I know there's a little bit of something to that, I don't know, the romanticism of an artist. But I always say artist isn't a starving artist because they can't sell anything. It's because all the materials are expensive. There's a lot of stuff to buy when you're an artist. So David will be back in a moment. My plans for next week. I'm trying to see by next Sunday. Let's see here. I'm looking at my calendar to see what the date's going to be, because that will kind of affect with Inktober and everything. Let's see here. Today's the 21st. Next Sunday will be the 28th. So Inktober will not quite be done yet, but almost. It'll be the 28th. So I'm hoping to be most of the way done with this guy here. Should be wrapping it up. Don't have a whole bunch more as far as, like I said before, I've got all the characters on there, which is probably hard to see with the blue, but it's been kind of fun to stare at this thing, this motley crew, and just everybody hanging out on there together. But that's what I got left and what I hope to have pretty much done by next week. I also want to, like I said, my 100 Days of Making Comics wrap-up video will be posted very shortly. So by next Sunday, I don't know if I'll have a whole nother one ready to go, but I'd like to have it one mostly made for a release on Monday or so right after this. But that's my kind of goal. Are you back, David?
Yeah, I'm back. I was just about to say, Ace asked about the anthology, and I was like, that's actually a good time. Like, I was curious your ideas on the anthology. Did you like settle on one yet, or are you still?
Oh, So I kind of let myself not totally settle a little bit. In the beginning, Ace, I kind of talked about, they let us know with the anthology that there's a whole bunch of people that sort of applied to be in it, and they're going through and figuring out everything. So they kind of let everybody know, hey, don't put all of your other projects on hold. And they gave us a little bit of timetable on it, not needing to have anything concrete by. So I'm still taking any ideas. Now I'm still kind of writing down different ideas, but of the stuff we talked about the other night, the 70s Cop Show thing was a lot of fun. But what's intriguing me, two things. The one that we start off at the beginning, David and I talking about, which was the sort of caricature of a guy who is going to be turning into a werewolf, but ends up turning into like a bestial unicorn thing. That would be a lot of fun for me to draw because I've got some very visual ideas for that. But the other idea that was really exciting me was the kind of political one, which I don't think would be that hard, especially this version of it, which we said wouldn't be incredibly intellectual. You know what I mean? Like it would be more just satirical of, you know, all of the sort of goofy tropes of, I can't think of the word. Just goofy political stuff when everyone's pointing fingers and being mad at other people for absurd stuff. That probably
that one was definitely my favorite one.
Yeah, I think it could be pretty cool. Like the idea was basically for everybody else out there. It's an anthology that I'm applying to be in, and the theme is werewolves and unicorns. That's it. It can be about anything. And an idea I'd had is the idea, like in politics, that an elephant and a color, and then a donkey and a color are representations of political parties. It's kind of strange and absurd. So I started thinking of if a unicorn and a werewolf were the sort of figureheads for political parties, and then quite literally if it was unicorns and werewolves, and this sort of black and white sort of extremism forces against each other, and what that sort of smear campaign back and forth would look like in a 6-page comic. I think it could be a lot of fun. Let's see. Ace says, did you see my idea that the two parties go negative? Then it turns out that it's actually a third-party ad. I hadn't seen that, but I like the idea that it goes back and forth between these two the whole time, and then the sort of 6-page twist is, I don't know exactly how, but like somebody on the couch not being either one of those parties, obviously, like being like, see, we need third-party representation, or the third party just as absurd being like, chupacabras have to stand up now for our voice, something just sort of goofy as a twist at the end that way. But so those couple of ideas, I'm still wanting to, sifting through and trying to come up with other things, but I kind of like the idea of those.
What was in terms of time frame, you said they did give a time frame, or they just said just hang on tight?
Yeah, I forget exactly. I think beginning of November, they were going to let people know.
Yeah.
I forget exactly. I got to look back. But basically, it just kind of gave me the ability to go to like relax about it and not be like, oh, I've got to come up with an idea now. So if they all of a sudden go, okay, Scott, you're in if you've got a good idea, and then I'd have like 3 or 4 pitches and be like, what do you think of this or this or this? Yeah. And it's kind of like, everyone just keep working on your stuff, finish your Inktober's, work on your projects. Don't start wasting a whole bunch of time on, plotting and concept art and things like that, because they just really don't know quite at this point who's going to be in it. So, but yeah, which is a good thing. I've got a little time, and it feels good to be working on this sort of single illustration project and then keep October going. But you got kind of cut off before a little bit, David, when talking about your plans for next week. Do you remember where you were at with that?
Oh, because then I had to run upstairs. I'll just jump right back in. Finishing page, this would be, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, this would be page 4 and 5, and getting started on page 6. I should get all of page 6 done. I'm thinking about my flow, right? I mean, I should have a couple drawings in between. Like I should be on page 7 next time we talk.
I love it.
Yeah. And I'm super excited to be thinking about that. Like, I don't know. It's crazy because I like last time I drew a comic was almost a full year ago now that I'm thinking about it. And like, I feel like I took forever between pages and spreads and scrapping ideas. And I don't know. I'm just in the zone of just like, all right, cool. There it is. There's another one and there's another one. There's another one. And all right, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Like, I don't know. There's just, I'm in like a really good spot.
You're point your project because you're still excited about the idea, and you're like with this Inktober idea and like this idea, you're like seeing progress quickly, which just makes you want to make more progress quickly.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And that kind of momentum is huge in projects. So it's a really cool idea to use a drawing challenge that requires you to like work daily on something that's your own idea. Because when it's your own idea, I feel like it can be easy to go, oh, I'll work a little bit today, I'll work a little bit tomorrow. Oh, I couldn't think of anything. I'll come back to it this weekend. Especially if you like already have the script like you had, David, and everything to like really go, okay, I know what the story is going to be. If you have something where you go, okay, for 30 days every day, it doesn't even have to be like 100 days of making comics. You can do 30 days of making comics and just know that you're going to show up every day. And like you will start seeing progress rather quickly, and motivation fuels motivation.
Yeah. Awesome. That's super real. And it's like, honestly, if anything, I'm worried that like at the end of the month, I'll lose the momentum and I'll hit page 10 and it'll get stuck there forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I suggest doing a thing where you already have in place like the next rule for yourself, where like maybe you'll still be accountable to me and like our weekly show here, but make like a midweek check-in for yourself and just like have a David making his comic entry like on our channel or something. But know that once Inktober gets done, when you have to like post every day, even if you're not doing that, and to like increase that, you know, twice a week, you're going to have to account for how much progress you're making.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea actually.
Especially because one of them you're already doing, so like that's easy, and then you just are basically then just adding one more thing, and it's also content for YouTube, or if you do your IGTV or something like that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I just drank the water that I just dipped my breath.
That's my suggestion, is to kind of have that ready to go. I wish I would have had that a little bit more set up, like my video idea, like done my 100 wrap up, like, you know, the next day, and then known more solidly, okay, this is what I'd like to do once a week or however long, because those little things. But like this has helped a lot. Inktober kind of rolled right into it, so it does help. But yeah, dude. Anything else you've had going on lately? I don't really have anything exciting, or.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're both in a really unusually not chatty mood tonight, which is just super strange because one of us is usually like in the zone to chat.
I don't know, man. Just doing the 3 Ps, we just spent 55 minutes. We didn't even like the topic necessarily. For not chatty, that's not bad for us. I
feel lack of chatty for some reason. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like usually though, I guess what I feel is that like usually by now we've gleaned a nice little bit of nugget that we wrap up with, and I don't really know. I guess we talked good about just like check your life schedule. If you're trying to be a creator, if you're trying to make something happen, and you're second guessing yourself or you're using excuses, like really take a catalog of your time and see what you do with your life, and if it's worth giving it up to do something cool, or if you just enjoy the fact that you spend all your time watching TV. I mean, right? There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, you know, for the folks that I know, a lot of people that are watching this, or other folks in the trenches, know when you are like doing good work and you're pressing forward and you're putting a lot into it, and you know you're going to go out to dinner with your wife. Enjoy that. Be present. You earned it. You know, you've been working hard. Like, it's kind of tough sometimes. You got to push yourself real hard, but then don't like beat yourself up for being a normal human. Like,
Right.
you do get away from the desk and experience life. But maybe the choice is that when you do step away from the desk, you're filling your time with, quality life experiences, as to not waste time so that you can get back to the desk, and keep working as soon as you can, but be present for life. Something like that.
Something like that. That's actually, yeah, I like it. I'm happy. I'm happier now.
Cool. And now, your title, Just Checking In. I think that was a pretty good title for this one. It was fun doing the idea jam before, but I think everyone's a little bit zonked after a long weekend.
Yeah, I think
that's you all. Oh, go ahead.
That's 100%. I think where I'm at. I think I'm very zonked from a long weekend. I had Friday off. I actually have tomorrow off. Like,
oh,
I know.
But I feel so bad for you.
Talking about spending time with the family, like did the pumpkin patch, went to Worlds of Fun. Like we've just been nonstop like family time this weekend.
Oh, Worlds of Fun and fall time and haunt. I miss it.
Yeah, that's we actually did the daytime one though with Ellie. Like they did a little Snoopyland thing.
Still, it's pretty during the day.
Yeah, it really is.
Stacy and I used to get the season pass mostly for kind of late September, October when they started doing the haunt stuff, and we just
actually literally what we did too. And then they do a Christmas one now. I think they started that last year, so I don't know if they did that when you were here.
No, that's pretty awesome. They do a Christmas thing.
Yeah, they do like a little they decorated with there's like thousands of lights. It had something like it was like over 250,000 lights around the entire park. I don't know. It's pretty.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that was totally worth it for anybody who lives around a park like that, because then you have a pass and you can just go anytime. You get off work early on a Friday. We used to go down and hang out and just go for a walk at a beautiful park. And then if there was a short line someplace, you ride a roller coaster. Good time.
Season passes for that kind of stuff are the best, because if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it, and you're not like, well, there goes my $50 for today. It's like, we'll come back another time. We'll ride that later.
There you go. Well, do appreciate you guys showing up in the chat. Red says, better than lame Six Flags in St. Louis. I grew up about half and half for a while, going between St. Louis and Worlds of Fun. But, yeah, I think Worlds of Fun would take it in my book. That's for sure. But anyway, thank you guys for showing up. David, why don't you help us close this out when we're not here on the YouTubes, bringing all kinds of fun entertainment at you. Where can we find you at?
You can find me at Art of Mr. Fleming on my Instagram, or Mr. David Fleming on Facebook and around the web. You Google Mr. David Fleming Art, and I pop up, He
pops up. All right. And then me on Instagram, that's really where you can find most of my content. A lot of my 100 days of making comics, if you guys want to check it out, is both here on YouTube and also my Instagram on my IGTV. So check that out. It's Mr. Green Draws. That's mr.greendraws. There, if you click the link in bio, it'll take you to a link where you could buy this comic. You can get in time for Halloween. Cool comic about this band, Isabel Crane, illustrating all the different ways that one could die when they would much rather just die in their sleep. That comic is there. Stay tuned for Mr. Green's Monster Zine, as well as more from October as he comes into creation. So keep an eye out on Instagram, and then here, and then also on Facebook at I'd Rather Be Drawing. Thank you all for tuning in with us, and that's all I've got.
Yeah, I'd just say, we appreciate the shares. I saw some of you giving us the share after we mentioned it last week, but help us out. We would love to get more people in the chat and really start to make the show a little more engaging on that aspect. But we just want to get some people in here, and then we can do some shows too about questions from the audience and stuff like that.
All right, thank you guys. Yeah, comment below if you get a chance, especially after the show, and share it around for us. Thank you.
All right. That's another week. Peace.
Later.